Welcome to Real Estate of Mind, a Farbman Group podcast. Good morning and welcome to Real Estate of Mind. This is Andy Gutman and I'm here today and very excited about our topic today. I'm here with John Line, our Executive Vice President in charge of construction and property management for Farbman Group. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Andy. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Real good, thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, John, so you knew what you got yourself into when you walked into the office today. Scary, hard questions, one of the toughest interviews of your life. We're going to start with the tough ones, which, obviously one of the great things about you is that you have tremendous experience in the fields of property management and construction. You've been with Farbman now for about 15 years, which is pretty amazing. And we're very fortunate to have you here. But I think our listeners, most everyone out there knows John Line if they know commercial real estate in Michigan. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, what you've done in your career? Who is John Line?
Okay, I'll do my best. I spent about 18 years, I believe it was, with Trizec Hahn, a company who owned commercial real estate around the whole world. And I was mostly focused here in the Detroit market and some properties that actually the Farbman Group purchased. And I decided at that time was a good time to come over. And since then, as you said, I've spent about 15 years here too, which puts me at about 33 years of experience, starting in maintenance, working my way through construction, property management, and then overseeing both of those areas now.
And you're self-taught. I mean, that's the great thing about it. You've the people that work in the arenas that you do. I mean, you started hands-on in maintenance, which a lot of people that ultimately run a division or divisions like you do have kind of a vague idea of what the day-to-day workers do. But I think that gives you an advantage, doesn't it? Knowing hands-on how things actually work.
Yeah, I believe it's a great advantage. I think both in the giving support to employees and in not being able to have the wool pulled over my eyes.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's easy to do that. I know I work day in and day out with vendors who are here to help us out, whether it's HVAC or rooftops. And for me, it's not as easy to understand when they are trying to pull the wool over my eyes. Not that anyone would ever do that.
Right.
But everyone has their own opinion or technique on how they think we should approach things. And I think what's been most valuable to Farbman Group is that you have the intimate knowledge of the various areas. So if someone is saying something that we don't need to do, or there might be a better way to do it, you can really vet that for us and make sure we stay on track for the people that we represent. Use their dollars wisely, right?
Yeah, I would agree, and I also enjoy learning new stuff. Obviously the digging in and finding the new products and new technology is something that brings us to be a better company, makes me a better person at my job, and then better at just blending as a teammate.
That's great. One of the advantages, John, that Farbman has with having someone like you on board is that it really helps us from start to finish. We're a full-service real estate company. Sometimes that means we acquire. Sometimes we help our clients acquire. And having you in the process, really from start to finish, you help out in the due diligence arena. And then as we continue with the project, you've been there from day one, knowing the property warts and all. Tell me, how do you feel like that gives us that competitive advantage when you are a part of that process?
One, I really enjoy that part, so I have a lot of passion for it. I like being able to get in on ground level so that at that time I can maybe find, as you say, the warts or the positives, whatever it may be that brings value or devalues a property. I'm both internally and externally, as you said, to third-party customers, able to dig in, look at a property. I like a top-down approach. I like to work and get in there with the engineers, ask the right questions, hopefully, unveil anything that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise seen. And usually I don't get brought in until we reach a point where somebody's already done some pretty deep financial analysis. And when I'm done and I give them the information, it's sort of the last contribution toward that. And a decision is made soon afterwards as to whether we still believe it's a right property to purchase or whether the third party customer feels it's the right party to purchase.
Yeah, I think that's a great aspect of it. To be honest, the wonderful thing is the underwriters do their job. They get in, they review the property, they say, based on the knowledge we have, and we bring in third-party experts that do help us. But I will tell you, the one thing that we look to as an owner, as an asset manager, as a representative of our client's ownership base is we've got the other experts and we hear what they say, but the true litmus test for whether a property should be purchased is when John Line walks in and does his analysis of those systems. And that's a huge opportunity for us to make sure that we have dotted the I's and crossed the T's. And we've walked from deals based on the fact that you found errors that others missed. And that's a great advantage to have.
Yeah, thanks. I definitely enjoyed that, as I said. And, I find that some of those other third parties, they're very good, but they tend to protect themselves too much, or sometimes they have other influences that maybe encourage them to move forward on things that we think are not exactly true. Our experiences are really field experience. And, that we do almost every area we've done projects in recent time. So I think our expertise is really right down to the day.
Yeah, the one thing that I enjoy about working with you, and I think you and I are very similar in this way, is that you and I have a limited filter. We're not politicians. We're not here to tell you the politically correct thing to say. We're going to give people the unfiltered truth, or at least our opinion of that, and let them make a decision based on that, which I think is, it's another separator. I think too often people get caught up in being polite and trying to say the right thing, and you can cost clients, we can cost ourselves significant dollars if we weren't that unfiltered group that we are. So I know you don't hesitate to say what's on your mind, and we've had some good laughs over the years over that.
But. Very true.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one. John, one of the things that Farbman is best known for is being able to provide tremendous service at the right price through bidding processes, through just making sure we have vendors that we can use our economies of scale to price things appropriately, setting the appropriate scopes. But one of the things that's rarely talked about in the industry, and I think it's an important aspect of management, construction, is understanding the economy that you're in and how that affects your approach to the various services and handling the buildings. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. And I actually was a topic of one of our recent meetings. It's adapting for the time and the economy and what's happening out there. And when I meet with the managers and my direct reports, I try and press upon them that we had a real bad economy. We streamlined cost, and that's tenants were dropping rents, dropping out of buildings, and we have to adjust for that. And we did a great job as a very loyal company by retaining all of our employees and spreading them out into positions that we could keep them all around. And then as things changed, we've added employees as needed or put the right amount of staff in place. As we take on new properties, we evaluate that the same way. If we see too many people, we have to do some adaptation, and sometimes we bring those people into different positions if we can. And the staffing of people and the right staffing at properties is very important. The quality of people is the most important thing, and I think we do a great job of having quality people. Those quality people need to adapt and understand when we have a tough market that we need to cut expenses, and when we have a great market that we need to look better than the neighbor, no matter what. That is an objective, but sometimes the dollars available to do that can be difficult.
Yeah, I think you had a number of good points there. And the reality of it, and one of the things I want to touch on, Farbman really considers its employees part of our family. And sometimes there are hard decisions to be made. The great thing that I really feel strongly about, when we had the down economy as a company, we didn't cut jobs. And that was unique for the industry because it gave companies an opportunity. If times are bad, we have to cut costs. And people sometimes, especially in service companies, are the first to go. You hit on a good point, which is Farbman tends to say, okay, maybe we, as a company, need to eat a little bit of cost until we have a new property for one of our managers. But more importantly, we can shift people into other open positions if they have that ability, they have the willingness, and will work with us. But you do always have to take a look and make sure things are appropriately done. But I'm most proud as a part of Farbman that we care about our employees. They're not a number. We don't hire recklessly during an up economy so that during a down economy those people lose their jobs. We try to maintain an adequate and appropriate amount of personnel, but knowing that every decision we make affects not only our company, our clients, but the lives of people. And I love that there's a heart to what you do every day and what we do every day as a company. The other thing that you touched on, and I like that as well, is the importance of understanding the economy and how it plays. Right now, there's a great flight to quality from tenants. So as a manager, you've got to make sure that those properties are shining and the amenities are in place, that they're well maintained, because unlike the down economy when rent was the major decision maker for a lot of people, now it's, what do I have? Do I have the conference center? Do I have a workout facility? So people does the building look like it's class A, B, C, whatever it is that they're trying to get to? It's much less so about what's the lowest rent. It's more, how do we get the best quality? And as managers, which management can be such a thankless job, and I know that, because no one calls up and says, God, that's great heating and cooling today, thank you. But it's important that we're always on top of it, and it is the utmost customer service job that you can think of, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely a behind the scenes crowd. We're the backstage people. If we're doing our job, everybody else is looking good and shining. We have to work with all aspects, and that's a tough thing to train to the management mentality, that our job is to make the broker do a better job. And our job is not just retention, it is making sure that we are able to draw in new tenants, even though we might understand that sometimes the broker is the one who gets a commission for it, and they say, oh my God, that's their job. No, it's all our jobs, because long term we need to fill up buildings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep them filled.
That's a great attitude, because that can be a very tough thing to explain to the manager and the broker. If they're not working in lockstep on a property doesn't look good. The broker can't lease. You don't have money for the property to look good. So it's really a hand-in-hand thing, and knowing and teaching the managers the importance of working with the brokers, taking the daily critiques and keeping that in mind. It's such an important thing. So I think that's another differentiating factor, is our managers work very well with our brokers, whether they're internal or external, because the focus is the end client. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, you oversee construction as well. You work hand in hand with the president of construction, Ron Morozic, and that's another aspect that we offer to our clients, is the ability to bid out construction internally here. The nice thing is that we're a service to our clients, so even if they don't end up hiring our construction company, we can get in the early stages before they're out bidding to the community or out in a crowd, and give them estimates of their jobs. Here's a back of the envelope, this is what this could cost you. Both you and Ron Morozic are brilliant at that sort of thing. Talk to me a little bit about the construction work that you do, how you go about it.
Well, you hit a couple of great points, and if you begin with the construction department, as you said, it offers a value that most other real estate companies can't offer. It doesn't necessarily bring revenue in when we're out there helping somebody evaluate a deal, see if that deal is going to be very good for the property or whether it's not going to be good. And at the end of the day, we may or may not get that construction project, but we brought an extra service that others couldn't bring, because we have a great team, like you said, Ron Morozic and his team. Our team do an excellent job. And then there's also the ability to quickly staff up and put people on the jobs, bid out the service, get bids timely. We've been in business in the construction side as long as we've been in our other businesses and we know the vendors in this market. We know who's doing quality jobs. While we're loyal, we are always looking for additional vendors, and we are always willing to create new loyalties. We know that just being in business for 30 or so, 40 years, there have been a lot of new vendors that came to play, and we've gone through a lot, and we'll go through more. And when I say go through, I mean work with. We really are believers in we don't get anywhere unless we have quality vendors, and our quality vendors make us a quality company. So really, we're always looking for more vendors, and if anybody listens to this, get on our list, get on our website. We're looking for good quality vendors.
Yeah, I think that's a great statement, and I know we advertised a few weeks ago. We did Vendor Palooza, our second
Great
annual.
event.
Yeah, and of course, it's an opportunity to thank our existing vendors, the ones that help us shine every day, but also I think there were hundreds of new vendors that were coming in to talk to us. All of our managers were there. You were there. I think, without a doubt, the crowd around you during that event was probably the largest crowd around anybody because everyone wanted to make sure they were in with the boss and getting on our list. But to get on, it's you go to farbman.com and hit our vendor application page, and we are always looking for great people. We want to keep the wonderful vendors that we have. But you've really, I think the open mind that you bring to the department and the willingness to do things like a Vendor Palooza, which it's not a free event for us. There's a cost to us, but you can't properly show gratitude to the vendors without doing something like that, and you can't entice new people as much without an event of that magnitude.
Yeah, we probably had twice as many people show up this year as last year, and the last year, probably within 3 weeks, we were working with another 10 vendors that we didn't know of before. And this year, it's about the same way. We were quickly on track to add 10 or so new vendors that we're already working with, and several others that have applied to be on our list, and we're working toward giving them opportunities. The other thing is, as you said, our existing vendors, they said it's almost every single one of them said it's an unmatched event, that they've never seen a real estate company offer that thank you back to their customers.
Well, that's such a big part of yeah, it's such a big part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's humility, it's understanding that we can't look good without other people helping us out. It's all a team effort, and I love that there's that knowledge and appreciation among all of our employees that not only do these people work for us, they work with us, and many times they're our saving grace. So we've got to keep that. We've got to keep that in mind. Now, follow-up question for you, and this is important. We've now had 2 Vendor Paloozas. Favorite food truck out of those? Do you have a favorite dish?
I like Mac Truck always the best, but they're all good.
That is a good one. The Mac Shack was a great one.
Yeah.
I can't argue that there's a spicy dish for there that
Yes.
just still hurts from 3 or 4 weeks ago, but man,
Right.
it's good. All right, John. So we're going to close things out, but I'd be remiss if we didn't close it out by saying if people are looking for jobs in management, they're looking for jobs in construction, you can always hit our human resource department, but you can also email line, Line, at farbman.com. If you're trying to become a vendor, farbman.com is the great website, but John is always open and looking for new opportunities to add to his 2 million emails he gets a day. But I really want to thank you for being a part of the show and a part of the company. We are a better firm because you're here, and I know you know that because there was a short time period when you had sought a new career, and we missed you for a year or so, and we spent a lot of time working to make sure that you never officially left.
I'm certainly happy to be here, and I'm very loyal to the company as they are loyal to me and to our group and to the team. So really enjoy being here.
Well, that's great, and thank you for your time. This is Andy Gutman and John Line for Real Estate of Mind. Join us next time for another wonderful edition of Real Estate of Mind, a Farbman Group podcast.